Greetings, YouTube. It's time for some more Christian hate speech. And this isn't hate speech against Christians. This is hate speech from Christians. And I'm quoting this guy, so please understand that this is not my words. Am I sad that five homos got shot? No, I'm not sad at all, said Pastor Aaron Thompson. On Tuesday night, Christian hate preacher Aaron Thompson of Washington's Shore Foundation Baptist Church celebrated the mass shooting at Club Q, saying that it was a good thing 5 people at the LGBTQ club were murdered because it means, quote unquote, they're not here anymore to molest kids. Well, I should point out that he's kind of off the mark there. Now, it's important to remember that statistically, 80% of people that molest children are straight men, regardless of the gender of the child. So statistically, you're far more likely to have a child be at risk around a straight dude than a gay person. But they don't like to face that reality, and they don't like the fact that there are, have been thousands of, holy leaders over the years that have molested and raped children and parishioners, regardless of what the faith in question is. But we have quite a few people in America that are priests and preachers that have been found to be repeat offenders in that particular regard. Actually, for real, grooming kids. Even in some cases, I know, passing kids around from one religious leader to another. They don't want to talk about that. They would rather stand atop the bodies of 5 dead people shot down by some enraged person with access to a gun that they shouldn't have had, than face the reality that their own community really should be, fixing itself. And maybe they shouldn't be worrying about the gay community. Maybe they should be worrying about their own. But again, as I've said before, and I'm probably going to unfortunately have to say many times, this is all stochastic terrorism. This is all an act of saying that we think that these communities should be targeted. And there are going to be people that target them, because they think that the folks that are saying these things, and they're preachers and politicians, are those that they look up to and they turn to for advice and guidance. And if the guidance is, it's okay to kill that group over there, in my book, that's something that law enforcement should be looking into. I personally think that they should be asking this preacher some really serious, hard questions, because there are limits to free speech. We've always said that. And one of the limits we've often referred to as the yelling fire in a theater. If you stand up in a theater and yell fire, and there is no fire, that is not protected speech. You are now putting the people in that theater at risk, because they are now going to try to charge the doors, and someone could get hurt and or killed. People get stampeded to death, unfortunately, quite often when it comes to that kind of a panic situation. And I see no difference between the screaming fire in a theater analogy and standing in a church and preaching the death of gay people and trans people. There should be no difference there. And just because a preacher says it doesn't mean they should be protected somehow. If we've already established you can't scream fire in a theater, then we need to also go after the politicians and the preachers and the priests and the pundits that stand in front of pulpits and cameras and in podcasts and on articles and spew hatred at targeted groups, whether it's the gay community, the trans community, black people, immigrants, doesn't matter. If they're targeting groups, even if it's an entire group and not an individual, that needs to be addressed. That isn't just free speech. That's a threat. Because you're not just saying general, really, philosophical concepts here. No. You're saying very specifically that community over there in my bigoted, twisted worldview is dangerous. And that is going to call some people to action. And the people that spew those words need to be held accountable for the actions that result from them.